Next speaker is about to show you what's possible when you master the art of scaling. He is known as the AI king, and he has now built over 1,000 AI bots out into the marketplace. He's developed systems that are nothing short of miraculous, taking clients from 200,000 all the way up to over 60 million in revenue. He's a former US Navy intelligence analyst, and he is about to pull back the curtain for us to see what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Russ Ward. Mr. Ward, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing, man? Let me just make sure you can unmute and actually say hello. How you doing, bro? Thanks so much for coming in.
I am doing well today. Thank you so much for having me here, guys. So you can see I'm in my office here. I'm all things high level. Got my SaaSpreneur hoodie on. This is a typical day in the office for me. This is how I work every single day of the week. I'm not a fancy guy. I don't come to these things in suits and things like that. I'm probably like most of you. And I'm really excited to join you guys today because what I'm going to share with you today is a huge success. One of the biggest successes I've ever had for a client in my business. And I think if you guys take on what I'm going to talk to you about today and you implement it into what you're doing, you can have similar successes as well. I mean, we took a company that was growing and they were doing well, but we just literally blew them up in a whole week. So you guys are going to be excited to see what I have to share with you.
Amazing, dude. The
Let's
mic is
rock.
all yours. We are ready to rock.
Okay, let me get this presentation up here on the screen. And I know everybody hates PowerPoint presentations, but I promise you I will make this as painless as possible and give you as much value as I can possibly share with you today. Uh, Feel free to ask questions along the way. Some of this stuff might be new to you, and I understand that. All right, so here we are. The name of my presentation is The Power of iMessage plus Live Transfer, how AI plus human touch added $200,000 in a week for a roofing company. This isn't theory. This isn't a case. This is a real case study from numbers of a roofing company that transformed their business. Now, just to give you a little bit of background about this roofing company, I have a really good friend who owned one of the largest roofing companies in the country. Some terrible things happened in his business. It collapsed, and he had to literally start over from nothing. So he started a roofing company again from zero. He was already on pace to do 60 million this year. And he said, hey, we're doing well, but what we want to do is we want to tighten up all the leaks in the process. So that's where my system came in to tighten up these leaks and make sure nothing fell through the cracks. So I'm going to get started here and I'm going to show you how we did that. So a little bit about me, and I promise I won't make this long. Um, I go by the AI King now. It works for me. When I first started out, I was just Russ Ward freelance marketer. I called myself the lead king because that sounded cooler than just Russ Ward, and it got me some following and some business. And then I turned into the solar king because I was a solar marketer, and now I'm an AI dude. So my background is 5+ years in digital marketing. I've had over $5 million in sales for clients for real estate, insurance, mortgage, solar, all kinds of good stuff. But I got frustrated because a lot of times we were having leads come in and the clients wouldn't call their leads or they would say the leads sucked. And I was honestly getting burned out because I was hiring call centers for people. I was calling their leads myself. It was just driving me absolutely nuts. So in 2023, I made a pivot to AI. I said, you know what, I'm gonna go all in on this. I don't want to drive myself nuts anymore. And since then, I've personally, not my team, me personally, I've built over 1,000 AI bots in SMS, Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, voice, anything you can think of. I have hundreds of AI call centers that I've launched. And all I mean by AI call centers is you can't really imagine like hundreds of little AI people sitting there. It's basically an AI system where it will reach out to new leads or it will answer the phone. And so I call those AI call centers. I authored a book recently called AI Powered Profits. I'm going to give all of you a copy of it before the end of this presentation. And by the way, don't worry about taking screenshots. Don't worry about taking notes. I have a QR code at the end. You just scan it. It'll give you the whole presentation. It'll give you a copy of my book. So don't worry about that. Just enjoy and take as much as you can. But the AI Powered Profits book actually goes through this whole process. It explains why it's so powerful, exactly how it works, and how you can implement it yourself. Now, what I recommend is most people don't just read books anymore. I know I don't. I won't sit down and read a whole ebook. So if you want to be most efficient, just download my ebook, upload it to ChatGPT, and tell it to summarize the book, and it will give you a really good summary. Also, one more thing that I did was really cool was that's a picture of me on a stage with Perry Belcher. Some of you probably know him. He had me at his AI Bot Summit to just talk about my experience when I was first getting started building bots. And a lot of people took a lot of interest in that, and a lot of people liked what I had to say. So that's what really launched me as an AI guy because I got a really good following from that, and I started to really build my business. So I don't just generate leads; I solve the conversion gap that's costing companies millions. And as you can probably tell, I'm super passionate about this. This is all I do now, and I'm really excited to share this with you. So that's a little bit about me. So, the company we're going to talk about is called US Shingle. They're on pace to go from the very beginning of the year, they were on pace for 2 million. They were trending towards 60 million. And their marketing strategy is really cool. They were sending direct mail to people who hadn't had a roof put on their house in the last 15 years. So, all of these people, and especially living here in Florida, probably needed a roof relatively soon, either because it wore out or the hurricane ripped it up a bit. And so they were getting this data. They were sending out mailers with a QR code on it that says, "Hey, get a shingle or get a metal roof for the cost of a shingle roof." That sounds like a really good deal because everyone down here wants a metal roof, and they were getting tons and tons of people in. So the marketing was tight already. What was happening though is these leads were coming into a system where they would see a picture of their roof, and then they would give their address, and then sometimes all they had was their address, and they would send sales reps out to knock on the door to try and set appointments. And then other times they would give all their contact information, and then other times they would actually go ahead and set their own appointment, but not all the time. So what they already had was a strong sales representative core. They had a solid business system, and they had effective marketing campaigns. But what they were missing was when these leads came in, when they actually gave their phone number, they were missing a strategy to reach out instantly, set appointments instantly, and to close deals as quickly as possible. So their old system before AI was lead collection. Leads were dumped into a CRM, a manual dispatch of door knockers, limited call handling. What would happen is if somebody did actually call the phone number on there, it would call into a ring group. And if one of the three people was available, they would answer the call. If they weren't, it would go to voicemail. And then it would go into a black hole. Typically, they wouldn't leave a voicemail. And at least in the roofing business, people tend to work with the first company that answers the phone because they so rarely answer the phone. So that's one of the reasons why an AI voice bot is so key for this because it answers the phone every single time. So they also had a database of 7,000 leads that had come into their system. They might not have ever even been contacted, and they were just sitting there as like a gold mine. So what we did as a two-pronged approach, we were contacting the new leads, and I'm going to show you what we were doing with them. And then we had the 7,000 leads that were sitting in that goldmine database, and we started to do what is referred to as a database reactivation. And all that really is, to put it simply, is we reached out to all 7,000 leads in one way or another. You can do that through text message, phone calls, email, whatever you want to do. But in this case, we did text message, and it worked phenomenal. But one of the sad things about it was as we started reaching out to that database, we found that hundreds of them had already got a roof. So much lost revenue because they slipped through the cracks. So in the roofing industry down here in Florida, at least for this company, now there's some lower cost companies. You know, you have like the Spirit Airlines of every kind of company, even of roofing. They'll do a roof for 5 to 7 grand. Their average roof is about $20,000. So we had 7,000 untouched leads at 20,000 each, untapped millions. And of course, so you're not going to close all of them, but there is a certain percentage of that that went ahead and got a roof with someone else, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of missed revenue. And there are some people who still want a roof. And then there's people who are going to need a roof in the future. So that 7,000 was a literal gold mine. And the revelation was they weren't just losing, they weren't losing because of bad marketing. They were losing in certain ways because no one was actually talking to a lot of their leads. So we did an audit of their business, and we found that they had minimal initial contact with the leads. The leads would come in, they'd fill out a form. It would go into this thing called Sales Rabbit, which is for like door knockers in the service industries, and they would go out, and hopefully these guys would knock on the door and set an appointment. But if that didn't happen, they'd fall through the cracks, and a lot of times they would never get contacted. So then we had this 7,000 lead database, tons and tons of missed opportunities in a black hole. And then the sales approach was pretty inefficient. We're basically waiting on sales reps to knock on doors to set appointments. And yes, it was working. Yes, it was driving revenue, but it was very, very inefficient. So our recommendation to close all these leaks and to seal everything up and to make sure no leads ever slip through the cracks. As soon as that lead came in that had a phone number, we sent them an instant iMessage. Now, this is where things go a little bit differently because before this, I had been talking about sending a text message. Nowadays, there is a way to integrate iMessage with high level. And I'm not really going to get too deep into that, but I will tell you that there is a company called My CRM Sim, and this is no pitch. I don't have a plug for this. A man named Gary Caps. Some of you probably know him. It's an amazing company. But anyway, he made iMessage for high level affordable. Before this, there was something called SendBlue. It was like $1,000 a month. It was very unaffordable, and the return on investment was not very good for most businesses. Now with iMessage with my CRM Sim, you can get it for 29 bucks a month as long as you have an iPhone and a Mac computer. So anyway, that's how we do it. And if you want more info on that, just look up my CRM Sim, talk to Gary, one of the best guys I know. So when the new lead comes in, we sent them an iMessage. Now, if they did not have an iPhone, it would revert back to a text message. But what we found is if it goes iMessage to iMessage, the message actually stays blue. There's about an 80 to 92% reply rate. So we would send that message, would give them 24 hours to reply. If they did not reply within 24 hours, they typically weren't going to, be a hot lead. So we'd send them on to a longer term follow-up as part of that big 7,000 blurb and would start them on a text message campaign. Now, the reason we did this is because you have to be very careful with your iMessage account because it's linked to your Apple ID. So if you start blowing people up every day, every day, every day, and they are not replying, they're going to ban your Apple ID. And along the way, I'm going to talk about some of the mistakes that I made in setting up their system and how I sent out hundreds of Apple messages and got the account banned and I fixed it. You just don't want to make those same mistakes. So the other thing we did was we automated the follow-up sequence. So we sent the initial message, and then we have an infinite loop of follow-up for these people. So what that means is if they don't reply, the system's going to follow up with them forever until they do one of three things. They either opt out and say, don't contact me anymore. They do a live transfer and they talk to one of their reps, or they book an appointment. That's the only way they're getting out of this, or else the system will contact them forever. We also did the database reactivation where we literally sent a message to all 7,000 of these people. And we're kind of just sitting back and waiting for them to get back to us and say, hey, I raised my hand. I want a new roof. Or, hey, I already got a new roof and take me off your list. Basically something like that. And then the final element that we put into this was an AI voice receptionist. What we did with this was because they had this black hole and because it was, so important, at least in the roofing industry, because of what they explained to me. If somebody calls and they don't answer, they're calling somebody else and you're not getting another shot. So we put an AI receptionist in place for this, answers every single call, answers their questions. It can even give them an estimate over the phone based on some parameters. And it can schedule an appointment for them for the next day. So they're losing nothing. We tightened up every single hole. So each solution addresses a different leak in their sales funnel, created a comprehensive system for capturing and converting every single opportunity. So the breakthrough where this really started to just absolutely crush it for these guys was iMessage plus live transfer. So the iMessage goes out. These people were already qualified because they came in through their own funnel. They scanned the QR code, so they already raised their hand and said, "Hey, I'm interested in a roof." All the iMessage said was, "Hey, notice we haven't got you on the calendar yet. You have any questions before we move forward with an appointment?" And the people would say whatever their question was, or they might say no. Then it says, if it was during working hours, we have people on standby right now who can talk to you about whatever you need for your roof. Would you like to talk to them? If they say yes, our AI voice system will call them. It will say, hey, this is Paige from US Shingle. Nice to meet you, Russ. I'm going to transfer you over now. Do you have any other questions before we transfer you? No, cool. Transfer you over. Puts them right live on the phone with one of their sales reps who would either sell a roof over the phone or schedule an appointment for a guy to go out the next day. We were finding that 85% of leads ish were responding to the iMessage. And then of those people, about half of those were accepting a live transfer whenever they replied. So that was just an amazing thing, right? Because I had theorized that this would work, but I'd never done it with a company with so much scale. So we literally started doing live transfers all day long to their sales reps, which is what blew the whole thing up. So we had AI chatbot function, handled the first contact and qualification at scale. Live transfer was the magic. And why it was magic was because it wasn't just an AI bot talking to them. It wasn't like the bot trying to set an appointment, which it could do. It's totally able to do that. They got on the phone with a real person. And that was so key because especially these days with all this stuff about AI, there's a ton of people out there. They're like, I hate AI. It's taking our jobs. I hate AI. I hate talking to it, right? We actually put them on the phone with a live person and that changed everything. So text alone doesn't close $20,000 roofs, but it's the handoff to the human that really made it work. So the first week results, 85% reply rates, 50% conversion to live transfers, and contact rate was 100%. That very first week, they sold 10 roofs on average for $20,000 for $200,000 in new revenue in 1 week. Zero missed calls. Now that's not a completely accurate number. They told me it was 10 roofs at an average of 20K. So it might have been a little higher, a little lower, but we're right around $200,000 in new sales just because we put these processes in place that were just tightening up the sales process. So here's some challenges we had along the way. When we were scaling, originally I thought that we could send up to 50 new messages a day per Apple ID. And that's true, you can. But if you keep on sending follow-ups to the same number over and over without a reply, Apple gets weird about that and they think it's scammy. And if you do it too much, they'll ban your account. Then I accidentally left a workflow on and I sent out like 600 iMessages at the same time. And that got the Apple ID account banned. So I had to call Apple, explain that some knucklehead at the company sent out all these messages. I didn't tell him it was me who was the knucklehead. And could you please, we've reprimanded that dude and we're gonna make sure it never happens again. So they gave us another chance and I haven't messed it up since. So scaling issues is really important. Apple ID was suspended. And then on the text message side, where we had all those leads, I made another mistake. I accidentally sent out 1,600 text messages at one time. Now, fortunately, we were using the Boost mobile network, so they didn't ban the SIM card, which was awesome. But it did kind of clog up the pipeline quite a bit. So what you really got to watch out for is you have to test, test, test before you launch anything live. And yes, I was testing, but I also turned it live way before I should have, and I could have really screwed things up. Um, the other thing that I learned from Gary Capps, because I went to him and I said, "Hey man, I'm making all these mistakes with scaling these out. Can you tell me any best practices?" And Gary told me about how they have like totally different, like four different workflows that the leads can go through, and they all have different messages. So it's never the same message going out to all the different people, and it never looks like it's scammy or spammy. So he actually taught me that you have all these different messages. It goes down to one of four different randomized workflows, and then that way it looks completely legit to the carriers. So we implemented randomized message variations. We developed throttle pacing algorithms. What that means is in high level, there is a feature in there. I heard the previous speaker talking about all the different functions in workflows. This is one of 6,000 apparently, and it's called drip. So we were dripping out one iMessage or one text message per minute. And that was the cap we put on this, one per minute. And then we created multi-account rotation system. And what that means is we had the iMessage in one account, we had the SMS in another account, and we were just moving the leads around so it didn't appear that we were spamming people. So the key takeaways from US Shingle are this. Attention, iMessage captures initial engagement with 85% response rate if they have an iPhone. If they don't have an iPhone, it just turns green and it goes to Android. And then we're back down to the regular SMS reply rates, which are quite a bit lower. Appointments, live transfer creates the perfect handoff for the moment of scheduling. So when they transfer it over to the human's already knowing because we have the AI bot tell them, hey, there's an incoming transfer. Just FYI, it's Russ Ward. And so they know it's like, hey, thanks for coming in through our bot, blah, 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 whatever. And then appointments are like 100% when they do this because they've already come through the system. And then obviously the combination creates an unstoppable sales machine, 200,000 on the books the first week. And it was literally all of this was generated through the AI systems I put in place. Zero of it had anything else to do with anything else. So the whole is greater than some of the parts. If any of these different parts would have broken down, if the live transfer didn't work, if the iMessage was banned, all this stuff, it just wouldn't have worked. So we had to have it all right. And here's what really drove the revenue. Text alone captures attention. AI chatbot qualifies the prospects. The live transfer generates the revenue. And we could spend hours on AI chat, reactivation, SMS, blah, blah, blah. But really, the single most important lever of this whole thing was the live transfer, taking it from new lead to a bot that talked to you that actually sounds like a human. And if we have time, I'll actually do a demo for you guys. And it hands it off to a human. So I just want to go over this very important part because the book I'm going to give you actually goes over this. So I want to explain how it works and dig a little deeper into live transfer. So Step one is lead capture. Step two is the instant iMessage. Step three is AI qualification. Voice confirmation. Oh, hold on, let me go back there. It confirms the availability for live transfer. Oh, and by the way, if it is outside of business hours, the bot won't try to transfer them. We had that happen at 4 in the morning one time too. That was another mistake I made. I didn't put working hours in there. And so somebody at 4 in the morning wanted to do a live transfer. And when I listened to the recording, they were flipping out because nobody was available at 4 in the morning. Insane. And then finally, we have the live transfer. So why it works, the psychology of it, familiarity. This is really, really key. A lot of people love voice AI because they think they can just upload a database of names and numbers and just have a bot call them. That has never worked. I've tried that with about 10 different clients and we have got zero return on investment for that. Zero. When we have a bot talk to them and say, is it okay to call you? And I'm going to call you from this number, they almost always pick up the phone. It's like over 90%. So it's familiar with the text message. We get the pre-commitment of yes of receiving the call. And then the context is a clear understanding of the call's purpose. So we're not wasting anybody's time when the transfer happens. This is a qualified prospect who wants to talk about buying a new roof. The answer rate tripled compared to cold calls, and I think that's a little bit low because it was almost everybody that answered the phone. So, oh, sorry about that. Human plus AI is the perfect model. AI strengths are fast, consistent, response at any time. They don't take time off. They don't deviate from the script. They don't have a smoke break. They don't have sick days. They don't have kids that get sick. They work 24/7. Perfect for record keeping and follow up. The reports are flawless, handles repetitive qualifications and questions without getting annoyed. Humans build authenticity and trust and rapport, navigates complex objections that the bot really can't handle sometimes, closes high ticket sales with confidence, and adapts to unexpected customer needs. You never know what's going to come up. And sometimes if a bot has a situation it doesn't know what to do with, it either kind of what we call hallucinates and starts making things up, or it can just kind of shut down. So we do need that human element still. Probably in the future we won't, but right now it's necessary. So real proof across industries. Obviously in US Shingle, I told you how we did 200K in the first week. Uh, we also did some tests with real estate. The conversion rate went up 3x, and with an HVAC company, we said 40% more appointments. These are all, we could do whole presentations on this, but I picked US Shingle because $200,000 in a week is a lot of money, guys, especially if you weren't counting on it, especially if you didn't know what to expect from an AI system. So it works for 20K roofs. It will work everywhere. Speed to lead is exactly what matters, and this live transfer process is really what is making it drive. So this is what it's looking like in the future, right? Cold calls are always going to work. I mean, if you had nothing but a phone, of course you can just call businesses and sell your stuff. If you call enough people, they're going to buy your thing. Warm calls, such as I opted into a lead form and said, hey, here's my information, I'm interested, they're going to work a little bit better. But this live transfer process is off the rails, just better than everything that we've experienced so far. And I've been doing this now for 7 years, and this solved every single problem that I've experienced in the marketing business. The main problems I was experiencing that almost made me quit was my customers would never call their leads. And if they did, they wouldn't follow up enough times. With AI, it just happens automatically. The customer doesn't even need to be involved. So as consumer behavior changes, traditional outreach methods become less effective. Live transfer creates a new paradigm that respects the customer's time while dramatically improving results. So here's some challenges and opportunities. Implementation does take expertise. Now, it doesn't take a lot of expertise. This is super easy for me because this is all I do every day. I think about this constantly. I dream about this stuff. I talk about it in forums like this. Um, People actually kind of get really sick of hearing me talk about AI because I make bots and I talk to them. I was in the car the other day and my bot called me to follow up with me because of something I was testing. And I was having a conversation with my bot. And my daughter said, Daddy, don't you ever stop talking to these freaking bots. And I don't. So obviously, you're going to need some skill. And you don't have to be obsessive like I am, but you just have to know the basics. And if you can follow the directions, and I'm actually going to give you something that'll help you with this, you can get this done relatively easily once you just understand the basics. You need to know compliance. If you start breaking laws, like for instance in Texas, you barely can send text messages anymore. We haven't solved that problem yet. It's going to shut your whole program down. You can't be blasting out unlimited text messages. You can't be blasting out unlimited emails. You can't be doing any unlimited anything. So you need to know compliance. You have to scale without getting flagged. Message optimization for responses. That's a big one. Our initial message that we sent out is very important. Basically, we were first saying, "Hey, how can we help you?" Which was a really stupid thing to say, but the customer wanted to try that. Then we went to, "Hey, you opted in to get a metal roof for the price of a shingle roof. Are you still interested in that?" And then it jogged their memory. They were like, "Oh yeah, I did want a metal roof for the price of a shingle roof." So you have to play around with messages, just split testing anything like ads or anything you do, and then training teams for handling the transfers. I got a bit of a pushback from this company because the people taking the calls at first were like, "What?" And of course, the sales manager was kind of pissy with me because he was like, "You're going to put my guys out of a job." And I said, "With all due respect, Neil, the whole point is to put your guys out of a job so we can automate this whole thing." Um, I feel for those guys, but it's going to happen at some point or another. And for now, we're going to bring in a whole bunch more sales while you guys are out still doing their thing. But this is where it's going to go, whether you want it to or not. It is going to go that way. So I'm going to make it the best possible I can for you. But when it's done right, obviously we have game-changing results. So every missed call for any kind of company, but especially a roofing company, is lost money. In their case, it could be $20,000 every single time you miss a call. So with iMessage plus live transfer, you never miss another opportunity to connect with a potential customer at the perfect moment. So I always ask people when I get presentations of any kind, I would really like it if you could take something from this and take action. So if you can, download my book. Don't read the whole thing. I know you're not going to do it anyway, but don't let it sit there. Just download it, upload it to ChatGPT, and read the summary it gives you. It will give you a much more in-depth detail of how we do this, why we do it, what we use to do it with. And I'm readily available. I'm happy to answer all your questions. You can join a free course that I'm going to give you a link to. Basically, the free course that I'm going to give you today shows you exactly how to set this up. I have a snapshot for high level. I show you how to get a VAPI account. I show you how to link it all together. You just follow the directions, it'll work for you. And then implement these strategies for your business. Why I say your business is because if you use it in your own business, you can go out and you can tell your clients, "Hey, it works for me." I don't remember who I learned that from. I think Jeff Miller. Some of you are probably familiar with Jeff. He always talks about, if I got you with this marketing strategy, I can get clients for you with it. So if you look up any stuff about me, if you Google Russ Ward, AI King Russ Ward, you're going to find all my AI bots. You're going to find my AI bot receptionist. And if you call it, it's going to do every single thing that I'm telling you now. And if I'm available, it'll actually live transfer you to me and I'll talk to you and I'll sell you something. So it's really cool. So this is my book, AI Powered Profits. I've had about, shoot, at this point, like 4,000 downloads of it. It's been pretty popular. Actually, just updated a new revision. It's for sale on Amazon, but you can have it for free. Just you don't need to buy the hard copy book. Just download the free ebook. It's easy. Um, so on this page and at the end, just get these slides. Just click this link. It'll take you to my page there. You can download the book. I also have this course called Live Transfer, how to do the live transfer. It's a step-by-step walkthrough of setting up your own live transfer. I sell it for 97 bucks, but for everybody on this call here today, because I know you guys are the VIPs, I want to give you the VIP treatment. I have a code here called WL Suite, and it'll get you a coupon code to get it for free. And then if you're really interested, join my school community. I have nothing to sell you there. If you want to pay me for stuff, by all means, I'll take your money. But if you want to come out and just hang out, learn from me, I post stuff every single day. Every cool new thing that I make, I post in the school community. By all means, jump in there. Happy to have you.
Amazing. So good.
All right. Yeah. So basically,
Hey
this is how
Russ,
you.
hey Russ, you were so good. You've scored an extra 10 minutes, bro. And there's a lot of questions
So,
as well.
Russ, can we take an extra couple of minutes with you guys? Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, unfortunately, has been messaging us privately. He has come down with COVID. He is unable to speak. So, Russ, can we hang out with you for an extra 10 minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I want to make sure that QR code's on the screen just so everybody can get a link to it.
Grab that,
Yep,
guys. So
yep,
that's
go
cool.
for it.
Russ is making all his slides available there, which is great. Russ, I'd love to kick off. So we'll leave that up. We'll leave that QR code up on the screen there just for a few more seconds. A few more. Yeah, keep it up there. I'd love to ask you. So when you're out there talking to clients, what's your main way of getting that sort of foot in the door? How are you first approaching them with the whole AI bot system? Are you running ads to an AI receptionist, or what's your method there?
So we've done this a lot of different ways. Did we stop? Okay. Let me I just want to straighten this out so you guys can see me head on. So yeah, we've done this a lot of different ways. I've run ads, and basically in the ads I've done demos with me talking, and I've done all kinds of different things. But I'll tell you the coolest new way that we've been doing this, and you guys, this is a secret, and I think there's plenty of out there for us to do. We've been actually sending ringless voicemails to people. So if you use the high level system, it'll ring the phone one time and it'll leave a message. So what the voicemail says is, it says, Hey, you missed our call. Actually, that's the reason why we're calling, because every single time you miss a call, you're losing $20,000 roof sale. Call us back, and our AI receptionist is going to talk to you and tell you how we can stop you from missing any calls again in the future. Now, what's cool is we already have them uploaded into high level database. And when they call back, it pulls the name of their company and it pulls the name of them. So they'll call back and let's say it's Russ, let's say it's US Shingle and the owner's Neil. If they call back, it says, "Hey Neil, thanks for calling US Shingle. How can we help?" And then he's like, "Wait, what?" Like, yeah, we actually made a demo for you and we wanted to show you how. And then the bot goes through the whole process. We've been finding that that has been booking phone calls to sell this for us. And then what we do is we start the process by selling them a voice AI bot right out of the bat.
Mm,
I charge $500 setup fee for that, $200 a month for it. Super easy setup. I can have it set up for them in like literally 15 minutes. From there, we let that run for about a week, and then we reach out to them and say, "Hey, how you like it? You love it?" And that's when we start to implement this whole setup. So probably, I went through this presentation with some people last night. They said something that I should share with you guys is, what did I charge for this? I, since the guy was my friend, I charged him what I thought was fair for a friend. I charged him 5 grand. Okay, so 5 grand to set this up, and then I'm charging him $200 a month to do maintenance on it because stuff happens. I think you could charge a lot more for this, especially
mm.
for roofing companies are doing like as much money as they're doing. You probably charge $10,000, $15,000 for this, but I charged them 5 grand. So
Nice,
um,
amazing.
that was what I did.
It's so good. So, and the voice AI piece and the live transfer. So, let me just make sure we've got the flow right. We go with a chat based iMessage. So we're getting the iMessage going on. We ask if they want to take a call. At that point, the call that they're receiving is AI voice. So we're doing an outbound AI voice call using VAPI or something like that. And then if there's a question that can't be answered, that's when it's doing the live transfer, or is it going straight from the text to the person?
So it's going straight from the text to an AI voice, just like you said, calling them. And then
Yep.
the we don't want the bot talking to them. All we want the bot to do is say, "Hey, you ready for the transfer? Cool, and I'll transfer you over." That's it.
Oh, cool. Right. Okay.
But what
Okay.
we
Amazing.
have it programmed, if they give it any objections or have any questions, yes, we have a bunch of info in there for how to handle that. We have a script for it. But if they are ready to go right away, we just do the transfer, and then we have it set up so it's what's called a warm transfer, where it'll alert the person getting the phone that says, "Hey, you have a live transfer coming in. It's Russ Ward," and then it'll say, "Hey, Russ, how's it going?" And it makes it much more seamless and smooth. And we do that through Vapey.
Okay. Cool. Amazing. Why Vaping? Just best integration, best setup, easiest way to work.
Yeah, well, first of all, high level doesn't have the ability to do outbound calling. So
It
ultimately,
does about 3 days ago. I saw it come through. They've just released it.
my goal is ultimately to build all of this in high level and just drop snapshots and have a bot manufacturing facility. But um,
Yeah, just
the
like
other
share an
problem,
email.
yep, the other problem is the high level bot, and some of you probably saw my post in the group, is it just doesn't sound real enough yet. The Vapey
Right.
bot, if you hear this one, like it sounds like a real freaking person. And if
Yeah.
you're not
Nice.
trained to hear it, like some of us are, you can't tell the difference.
Amazing. Amazing. So we go chat conversation, AI voice kicks in, live transfer, and away you go. Super cool. The are you finding any pushback on clients saying I don't want AI, I'm not interested, or are you finding like just people are chomping at the bit to get it?
Yeah, it's kind of mixed. I do find the older people, they're just like they're the American steal our jobs type thing. And then but this is and I'll tell you this might be a bit offensive. The way I've got around that objection with roofing companies, I'm like, listen, no judgment here, but I guarantee you 80% of your crews are illegal Mexicans, right? If you don't care about that, why do you care about if an AI is on the phone? And that kind of stops them in the tracks, and they're like, that's a good point. Let's try it out. Like,
Okay.
and it's like I said, no judgment, but the truth of the matter is Mexicans are working on, at least in Florida, almost all the roofs down here. The very few other people than Mexicans are working on roofs down here.
Wow, cool. Johan and I were at a AI conference the other day, and we were talking to CEOs and talking about AI, and there was a bit of a mixture. People want the efficiency gains, but they're scared about their team losing their jobs and that kind of stuff. But so, Russ, as you see this developing out, is this like your one focus? We just build AI bots, AI reception, AI live transfer calls for local service companies. That's your niche. That's where you're going big.
That's exactly what I'm doing. And then the other thing that I'm actually, so these guys were so happy about this that they wanted to actually partner with me and white label it because they have a lot of contacts in the roofing business. So they're actually starting a business that's going to white label what I'm doing, and they're going to sell it because they're expert salesmen, and I'm just going to do the white label fulfillment on the back end. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I'm
Nice.
training specifically trained AI VAs. So I have my VA trained to basically act like me. And if I was to pass out for a week, she could handle the whole business. She knows how to do everything. So what I do is I train these VAs and then I place them in other marketing agencies. Because I would say a huge amount of my customers aren't roofing companies. They're actually other marketing agencies that say, hey, how do you do this? Set this
Mm.
up for us, train us how to use it, and then they resell it to their clients. And then also with that, a lot of times they also want a VA that can do it all for them.
Yeah, nice. And if you've got the skills, why not to be able to place them? That's super cool. So Mark's just asked if we can have the QR code back up there again. I think Paige just shared the link, which is awesome. Um,
You want me to
let's
send it up one more time, or you guys have
Yeah,
it?
yeah, definitely, man. Just pop it up on the screen. That'd be great. So just scrolling through the questions there. Actually, the whole Texas text message thing has got everybody freaked out. You got any thoughts on that yourself? Or like working around that in any way?
I mean, honestly, no, not really, man. I saw a bunch of posts about it, and I kind of thought I'd be tricky, and I'd be like, yeah, we'll use iMessage because they're not really SMS. But then I talked to ChatGPT about it, and ChatGPT set me straight. It was like the courts are going to interpret that as the intent of sending us a text message. You're not going to get away with that. So I'm
Right.
just staying away from Texas for now until somebody who's smarter than me figures the whole thing out. That's
Yeah.
basically, you know.
I think one of our other speakers said the same thing. It's just like, cool, that's steer away from that. And obviously, with our conference coming up in Dallas, are you going to be there? By the way, you coming to Level Up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to go.
Nice. Well, they won't be sending us follow up messages while we're there. That's probably that's probably pretty true. So yeah, just staying away from it, I think, is the message that people are talking about. So the whole iMessage thing is interesting. So we've known kind of about text message services before. Obviously, Gary Caps's system, the my CRM Sim, working with iMessage is interesting. Is the 50 messages a day limit thing restrictive in any way, or are businesses just not hitting that kind of number you're finding?
Typically with qualified leads, 50 is not it's usually not a problem.
Mm,
What you can do though is if it is a problem, and you know it's kind of a pain in the butt to set it up because for every single new iMessage line, we need a phone and we need a Mac computer of some kind. So what Gary showed me and his guys were doing tests on is on a Mac computer you can do profiles. So you can do like we've tested it with 4 profiles. So you can do one Mac with 4 different profiles, and then you can have 4 phones linked to those profiles. Originally, I was reselling this because I had so many clients who wanted it, but it was getting to be a pain in the butt because I had like a little rack server in my office and I had like 15 laptops. It was nuts. So I don't do it anymore. What I changed that to is and if anybody needs help with this, I have a little service where I actually get on a Zoom call and show you how to set it up and make it work perfectly. But I don't host this stuff for people anymore. It's just too much.
yeah, nice, nice. Um, Fair call as well. People just again freaking out about the text thing. I think it's just steer away from it by location. In your school community, like some of the presentations that you've got here and in the book, we've obviously got a room full of high level builders here. Have you got clear instructions on how to build this in the workflows and how to make sure all of this is connected up?
Yeah, that course that I put in there for free, that actually shows you how to do this whole entire process
Guys,
in like a
give some
master.
love. I'm looking over at my chat window right now. Give some love. Ross just gave you the whole thing, like as part of that. So just make sure you got it. Just say thanks. Yeah, there's Clay dropping in. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
There you go. Boom. Away we go. Cool. That's awesome. Thank you, Ross. Super cool. So again, guys, we'll make sure that the links and everything are there. And if you're using the AI Summit app that we've got in the background there for you, we'll have that link in there as well. I'm sure you'll be able to
Yep.
to
And
to
I'd love to meet a bunch of you guys too when I go to Dallas. Like like most of you guys, I sit in this office almost all the time. So if you guys recognize me, say hello to me because I love meeting new people and not being a hermit.
Nice. That's the best thing about these events, isn't it? You get to be actually stand in the same room as the people that you've only seen on Zoom screens up until now, and get to hang out a little bit, which is super cool, dude. What are you seeing as the adoption rate with AI in local service companies? So not just roofing, but we're talking about the plumbers and the electricians and the landscapers and carpet cleaners, these kind of guys. Are the small businesses, there's like 3 people, 5 people kind of companies, are they adopting this AI world pretty rapidly?
So what I found, because I wanted to get out and talk to people about this. I joined a BNI group just so I could test this. What I found is that if they're really small, a lot of them they don't even know it exists. And so
Yeah,
like I'll give you
right.
an example. I have this guy that fixed my AC in Florida. If your AC goes out, it's like a nightmare, right? You'll pay any price. Um, I had this guy, my AC broke a couple of times, and he came out and I just showed him it. And basically, I traded him an AI voice agent for fixing my air conditioner. I was like, he
Wow.
was like, how
Yeah,
did I
there you
get
go.
that? And I was like, I don't know. Here's the price, but if you just fix my AC, I'll give it to you. What was interesting though is he had never heard of it before. He's like, "Oh my God," his mind was blown, right? And what I found at these
Wow.
BNI meetings that I went to is like the younger generation who were, I'm talking real young, I'm talking like mid 20s to mid 30s. Those people were on top of it. But the people who were like in their late 40s and up, they either didn't know about it or they didn't like it at all. It made them very uncomfortable. So
Mm,
there's kind of like this generation gap where people are comfortable or not comfortable is what I found.
okay, cool. But in terms of I guess, yeah, if you can hit that sweet spot, if you can get in that the business owner that's been around for 10, 15 years and running a local service company, it seems like you're in a good spot. So the B&I crew were pretty receptive.
They were receptive, but like I said, like the guy that dominated that group, he was an HVAC guy. He was constantly busy, and I talked to him about it. And he was, man, I don't care about this. I have so much business, blah 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 blah, right? And that's a common thing. Like U.S. Shingle, they had a lot of business. They're on pace for 60 million, but when I showed them we could do 200,000 in a week, their eyes got big with dollar signs because like, holy crap, maybe we could do 120
Yeah,
because of this.
absolutely.
And you only have a couple of seconds to get them to see the vision because if they're just like blanked out, they're like, "Oh, I already make enough money. I don't care." Um, they're not
Move
going to
on.
listen
Get
unless you
get
can
someone
pique
who's
their
hungry. Yep.
interest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Johan and I were talking actually. We were trying to like list out the industries that it might work best with, and we were thinking, things like high end medical, that kind of stuff. So plastic surgery, or might be cosmetic dentistry, or that kind of stuff. What do you think about those kind of areas? Would they be a good target? Do you think as well, or no?
Yeah, so the number one question that we have with that, and I've purposely stayed away from it, is the whole HIPAA thing, right? And because I'll
Right,
tell
of
you right
course.
now, none of these AI bots or voice bots, none of them are HIPAA compliant. If you see that they
Right.
are, it's a lie because there's no way you can make this compliant with the openness of AI. There's just no way. We've done some things with med spas that were not necessarily medical. It was just
Right.
like, hey, you want a massage, you want a facial, stuff like that. Really good stuff. Um, and it can book appointments and change appointments, but I have purposely stayed away from medical because of the whole HIPAA thing. I don't want anybody getting sued over that.
No, for sure. There's more than enough business in so many other spaces, so worthy to be in there. Are you just going to keep building bots yourself, mate? You're obviously loving getting in there, coding it up, connecting it, making sure you're getting the actions going through.
I do. I just love it. And I have a VA and actually she's on maternity leave right now. So I'm doing it all myself without her. Like I only have this one VA that I trust with my life and I've never had a VA I've cared about this much. I've actually paying her for 2 months maternity leave. So I'm literally doing everything by myself for the next couple of months. But what I like about it is I'll get on a Zoom call with her and record the Zoom call and she'll just watch me come up with some cool new stuff. And then literally the next day she'll be building it herself. It's awesome. I love it.
So good, so good. And of course, as you said, you're giving that or actually doing that as a service, training those VAs and placing them in other agencies. So again, guys, keep in touch with Russ and get that kind of activity going there as well. Man, again, thank you so much, Paige. Thank you for keeping on dropping Russ's presentation in there. Paige is doing a great job there. Thank you, I appreciate you, and Robert as well. Robert Reynolds,
Robert,
appreciate you for doing that as well. Super cool. So
Ro-
guys,
Robert
grab the.
Hamilton just asked a question.
Oh, cool.
So
Let's
Robert
scroll up. Let me.
Robert said, has VAPI has the setup been solid and consistent?
Oh yeah.
It has. Somebody knows
Is-
about Vappy is they change their back end all the time. Like one place where you used to find something is gone the next day, and for a VA it'll freak them out because they're very structured people. But yeah, it's been really consistent. The setup that I have in this little course, if you guys want to do it for no other reason than to see the Vappy setup, uh, the most important part is to have your webhook set up correctly so that it can connect to the high level calendars and so it can send the data back and forth. Because if you don't have that set up correctly, it's not going to be of any value to you. So you have to have that set up right.
Right. Okay. Cool. And again, Karen, thank you for dropping in the course link there. And it's $97. But if you use that coupon code, I think it is WL Suite for White Label Suite, you'll be able to grab that for free. So again, Russ, thank you so much for making the VIPs feel like VIPs, man. I really value your
That
time.
was my goal. And I want to thank you guys too for having me because I love the opportunity to get out and talk. And, I mean, obviously it promotes my business a little bit and I love just networking with other successful people. So thank you very much for the opportunity
Super
today.
cool, man. You are welcome. You are definitely one of our
Thanks, Russ.
superstars. So amazing to have you here, man. And yeah, can't wait to see you in Dallas. It's going to be great. Guys, give it up for Russ. Drop some love in the chat. Giving away all the freebies and the courses and
Thank you, Russ.
the methodologies there. Super cool. Absolutely loved it. Look at that. Fantastic. Thanks for the reactions there, guys. Really love that. So good. So we are a couple of minutes early because unfortunately Declan just couldn't make it come through. Guys, I am going to give a shout out to Declan, even though he couldn't pop in for us. He's definitely going to have some recordings for us that we'll be able to pop in the members area as they become available. Declan O'Reilly's won every SaaS award there is, and he does it all in custom bathrobes, which that alone is spectacular. So I want to make sure that you guys have a reach out to Declan. He's got tens of thousands of people on his YouTube channel, and definitely worthy to look for him. We couldn't get him on the call, unfortunately, but we definitely still love the guy. He is amazing, and again, he's won SaaSpreneur and Affiliatenaire and all that kind of stuff. So Declan is worth checking out. We are about to roll through with the launch master. I'm going to keep his name secret just for a second. Actually, you guys have seen him all on the thing. So it's Nipun. He's coming in real soon. So yeah, he is going to blow us away. So I can't wait for that. Have we? I know we're kind of calling him in early. Johan,
he's coming in. His AI is here, and he's just messaging me saying, "1 more minute, please." I'm coming.
I love it. Like we all send the AI meeting note takers are all like, "Go and be in there for the meeting for me," and I'll be there in just a second. So, guys, like, I'd love to ask you, what have you picked up? VIP Day. Is it worth it so far? We've had some incredible speakers already jumping in the room. Just type the word VIP if you're already getting value. Right, let's just have a seat here. We want to make sure absolutely worth it. That says VIP, VIP, VIP. There we go. Cool. So we appreciate you guys. We absolutely respect the fact that you chose to upgrade. You, of course, have all of the recordings from the sessions. You've been emailed the details out there. And if you haven't seen it already, the AI that has been built, and again, Mr. Kyle Hendricks putting all that together for us in the background, has created an AI app that has got all of the speakers, what they talked about, and is trained on their session. So you can jump in and actually have a conversation with the AI that has been trained on the speaker's content. So you're able to go and say, hey, what did Matt DeSano talk about? And how did Dakota work out his thing? And what was Bryce talking about? And all that kind of stuff. So you can literally come in and use the AI to jump in. Sue saying she had a quick look yesterday. It's amazing. That is app.unofficialghlsummit.com, and you've got the access there, which has been sent on an email to all of our VIPs as well. We've got the books being done for you guys, all coming out. And once a VIP, always a VIP. So we are already planning our next summit in November. Once a VIP, always a VIP. So all of our next summits, you guys as VIPs will be locked in and have all of the recordings for all of our future as well. So if you think that's a good deal, take a page out of Danny Clark's book and grab the affiliate link that we included in your welcome email. And next time we're running these summits, make sure you're on our affiliates leaderboard so that you can have that locked in as well. I'm just seeing our next speaker drop into the room right here. So we are going to go through that. Michael's got his book already. That's great. They're being shipped out. They're starting to land on people's desks, which is amazing. Will the AI be trained on today's session as well? Yes, Mr. Kyle Hendricks never sleeps, which we try and encourage him to do, but he will definitely be loading that on. Guys, it's about to go on to the weekend. So probably come Monday, Tuesday, yeah, these sessions are going to be loaded into that AI as well. So, wow, how cool, right? Being able to get that
Hey, I've got a request. Guys, as you get your books and as you read them, please go and leave us a review on Amazon. Yep. So appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how Alex Hermosi says that, actually. He's, would you help an entrepreneur if it cost you nothing and took 30 seconds? Would you help a fellow entrepreneur if it cost you nothing and took just 30 seconds? And if you would, go and leave a review. It might just help that next entrepreneur pick up something and get an idea, and you've made a difference because you've been able to leave that review. So